right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Playoff predictions. It's happening. Now, just very quickly, I will. My playoff predictions before the season started was the Mavs winning the whole thing. I had the Mavs rematching the Celtics and winning that series in 3 games, and obviously, fucking A. But that's just I don't know why I brought that up. I guess just to embarrass myself. But here we go. Let's start with the play-in. Dude, I don't care about this. Dallas versus Sacramento. Here's the thing that, is obvious about Anthony Davis and has been obvious about Anthony Davis the whole time for years and years, is that sometimes he shows up and he's the best player on the court, and other games he doesn't show up and he's not the best player on the court. He's like a pretty good role guy sometimes, or sometimes he's the GOAT. And you just, you don't know what you're going to get. And that happens with competitors across many sports, so he's one of those guys. But in a best of one versus the Kings, I'm going to pick Dallas. I know we've been losing everything recently here at the end of this fucking nightmare season. Golden State absolutely destroys Golden State, so Memphis goes there. Golden State goes down here. Warriors. Now, I know Memphis just beat us, but I'm actually going to pick Dallas because I think Anthony Edwards is going to want us to suffer more. Dallas. God. Obviously, the Thunder beat Dallas. Obviously. 1% chance. I'm putting 1% here. 1% chance that Dallas wins. So not likely. I forgot the date. April 14th. Whew. Alright. I don't really have to talk about this. Come on. Don't be silly. Thunder. Nuggets Clippers. I'm going to go with the Clippers. And I think that Zubac is the key. I think Zubac is going to be... I think people are talking about Zubac and how good he has been right now, but I don't think they're talking enough. I think he's going to be talked about a lot more after the first round. After he kills it in the first round and the Clippers beat the Nuggets 4-2. Jokic is going to win you 2 games because he's going to score 58 in those games. But this is a 4-2 Clippers. Obviously, the Nuggets have the best player, so I'll put this over here. 1, they have the 1 ranked player. Clippers have 2, 3, 4 best players, easily, for sure. Zubac, Kawhi, and Harden are both better than anybody else on the Nuggets team. They're all better than anybody on the Nuggets team. Who's up for the Nuggets? Brown? Is it Brown as your second best player? Is Powell better than Brown? Norman Powell is their 3-point shooter, right? The Clippers 3-point shooter. I think he might be. Dude, that's I guess Brown would be a distant 5th, and then Powell 6th. That doesn't look good for the Nuggets. And the drop off between the Nuggets 1 and Brown is huge. So Clippers in 6. That one I'm not too worried about that. The next 2 I'm worried about. Lakers Wolves. Now, I made a very decisive claim before the season started. In my preseason prediction, I was very decisive that I said that Doncic would never lose to any team with Rudy Gobert on it. That's what I said. I said that Doncic would never lose to any team with Rudy Gobert on it. Now, if this was Mavs with Doncic versus Wolves, this would be 4-1. Or, 4-1. Anthony Edwards scores 50 in Game 3. but he can't do that every game. And so we whoop their ass. But the Mavs traded away 5-time first-team All-NBA player because, reasons. I guess defense. Anyway, I still kind of want to pick the Wolves. This is a 7-game series. 7-game series. And I'm giving it to the Lakers, I think. I think I stand by what I said. Doncic scores. I think that Edwards is actually going to be the best player on the court. I think when I look back on the Memphis versus Dallas series last year, there are two main reasons why the Mavs whooped the Wolves. Okay, and those two reasons are, one, the easy, they're pretty obvious. They're pretty obvious reasons. One, Anthony Edwards was exhausted that whole series. He was behind on every play. He was like a hopping bunny, dude. He was just like a confused bunny whose brain was like 2 seconds behind whatever was happening. And he played okay. Better than Towns. But he was exhausted. It was pretty obvious that he was exhausted. He was behind everything. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just bouncing up and down on defense. Every time, it's like a tennis bounce. When the guy's about to serve, you bounce. And so when you make your decision of how to react to the serve is right when you're most primed to move in a direction because you've just landed from a bounce. That's why you bounce in tennis. And he was just doing that over and over and over again while he was on defense, just bouncing up and down because he was so tired. Because you're just okay, decision. I can't be in there 100%. Anyway, he's not going to be that tired going into this series. I think he's going to be the best player on the court. I know LeBron and Doncic are on the other side, but I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the best player on the court, but I'm giving it to the Lakers. Because I don't think... I was a big Dante DiVincenzo fan. Even going back to his time with the Warriors. I was I want Dante DiVincenzo on my team. I made a list of what I would want my team to be if I was suddenly an expansion team and I could just grab a couple players. I didn't have that much money, and it was definitely Dante DiVincenzo was on that list. But he has not been that great this year, but does he turn up in the playoffs? I don't know. The other reason Dallas won that series is because Towns shot 3 for 40, 3 for 45 or some shit from 3. It was terrible. They used up all of their mojo to beat the Nuggets. That's 100% a fact. They used up all of their mojo to beat the Nuggets. And they used all of their mojo to beat a Nuggets team that didn't even really have a very good version of Jamal Murray. And Gobert was not... Whatever. I think Edwards will be the best player on the court, but in this series... the Wolves have number 1, best player on the court. Lakers have 2, 3, for sure, LeBron and Doncic. And then who's better, Austin Reeves or Gobert? I always say that Gobert is a liability, so I'm going to give it to Reeves. Who else is there? Who's after that in that top 4? Those are the 4 guys, Gobert. It has to be Gobert 5, and I hate Gobert. I said that Doncic could never lose to a team with Gobert on it. So I'm picking the Lakers. The Lakers make it through. This one is rough. Okay, here's what I think that this one is going to be decided by. I think it's going to be decided by 2 things. Well, no, 1 thing. Which of these 3 players is going to be the best player on the court? I think that Şengün, Butler, and Steph. I'm going to move the camera down to make this easier to see. Okay. These three guys are going to be the three best players on the court. I think for about 100% of the if there's any time where Jalen Green is the best player on the court, that's huge. The Rockets probably win in 6. Who else could it be? Draymond. If there's any time where Draymond's like, okay, yeah, Draymond's the best player on the whole court, and then probably the Warriors in 6. If that's happening, I think these are the three best players on the teams. I mean, Draymond might be better than like more beneficial than Butler, but there's going to be times where Butler's the best player on the court. I don't think there's going to be that many times where Green is definitively the best player. But it comes down to percentages. I think Şengün could be the best player on the court 40 to 60% of the time. Percentages. 40 to 60%. I think Butler could be the best player on the court anywhere from... It could be like 5, dude. Could it really be? Like, could be like 5 to 20. 5 to 20. Steph could be the best player on the court. He's going to be the best player on the court for a while. I think 30 to 60. 40 to 60 like Şengün. He is Steph Curry, yeah, 40 to 60. And I know I'm like giving Şengün the same percentage as Steph, but Şengün's way younger. Steph is old. Where the percentages come out to at the end of this series is going to decide who won the series. If Şengün is 60 and it's like 10-40 or 10-30, I mean, all three of these guys matter a lot. If Şengün is the best player 60% of the time, I think it's Rockets. But you never know. You don't know. You don't know. I think this... And the other stat that I'm going to pay attention to is Draymond versus Dillon Brooks three-point percentage. I think that they're going to let Draymond shoot threes. And they're going to let Dillon Brooks shoot threes. Are they going to let Dillon Brooks shoot threes? I don't know. It's going to be a good series. I say 6 games, though. I think it's going to be a very interesting series, and it's very hard to call. But it's going to be decided. I think it's going to be 4-2. I think if the Rockets are going to win it, they're going to win it 4-2. I think if the Warriors are going to win it, they're going to win it 4-2. And I pick the Warriors. I think Jalen Green is not going to be the best player on the court this whole time. Steph is going to be fresh. I think every round of the playoffs, Steph's number, his percentage of time where he's the best player on the court is going to go down because he's going to be more tired. Now, I know I'm like knocking him, but he is old, and it's going to be the same with LeBron. He's going to get tired. It's going to be the same with Anthony Edwards. He's going to get more and more tired, maybe. These 2 series are the star series. These are the ones to watch. I mean, all 3 of these are going to be good. But these are the hardest to pick, for sure. Thunder over Clippers. Now, I think Zubac is better than Hartenstein and Holmgren. But let's do the numbers. Thunder have number 1, Shea. Who's the second best player? Obviously, the options are what? Kawhi, Harden, Zubac. Who would I go next for the Thunder? Holmgren? Lu Dort? Jalen Williams? Jalen Williams is definitely not better than Harden or Kawhi. Is it 1 and then 2, 3, 4 again? Kawhi, Zubac, and Harden are 2, 3, 4. And then what? Jalen Williams is 5. Holmgren is 6. Hartenstein is 7. And then what? Powell, or is Lu Dort better than Powell? At that point, it doesn't matter. Dude, I think the Thunder win this, but it's going to be tough. I think Zubac is not going to do as well versus Shea as he did. It's going to be interesting to watch Zubac versus defending on the floor versus Jokic. who's like a complete opposite player of Shea, yet still being just as important, and then how he does on the court versus Shea. And I think Shea will do a better job of beating Zubac than Jokic. And Shea has an actual supporting cast. I'm going Thunder. I shouldn't be that much of a surprise. What I think it's going to be 4-1, but it'll be a very competitive 4-1. And Lakers Warriors, I hate that this is existing. I really don't want either of these teams to win. I'm going to be rooting for the Wolves. I never thought I'd root for the Gobert team, but I don't. Fuck the Lakers. Fuck the Lakers. And I'm going to be rooting for the Rockets for sure. I don't want to see the Warriors. We are the Warriors. I'm more interested in the young team. Lakers versus Warriors. Dude. Doncic coming off of shellacking of Gobert. Edwards is going to be better than Curry's. If I'm looking at this, and it's like, this is Edwards and Gobert. Where do they rank when it comes to this series? What do the Warriors have? They have Curry. Do you think Curry's going to be number one, or Doncic is going to be the best player on the court? I can't believe Nico traded him. Like, I love every single move Nico has made except trading him. And of course, like, after trading him, it makes sense to trade Quentin Grimes. But dude, imagine Quentin Grimes. Imagine this team back. Dude, whatever. Fuck it. This is not a video about how horrible the Mavs have been as a experience. But LeBron and Steph are definitely the next two best players, right? And I think Steph's going to be better than LeBron. LeBron makes so many, like, weird turnovers where he just sort of, like, drops the ball. Like, he expects the guy to be somewhere that they're not. And instead of looking and making the pass to the guy, he just sort of, like, drops the ball off to where he thinks the guy is. And there's nobody there. He makes those kinds of little turnovers. He's still LeBron, though, so he's 3. And then Butler or Reeves. I am a Reeves hater. I'm a notorious Reeves hater. I think people talk about him too much. I think if he wasn't white, I think him being white like doubles the amount he gets talked about. I don't care what you think about that. He is better than Butler right now, I think. So 4, then Butler, and then Green. I've never thought about things using this method, but it puts this into perspective a little bit. Lakers, Warriors, this is fucking brutal. This is must-watch TV. I'm not that happy about it, though. I don't want to pick the Lakers, bro. I don't want to pick the Lakers. I think the Warriors, dude, what a tough one. I think the Warriors match up better versus the Lakers. Dude, do they? What? There's no Gobert anymore to boost Doncic. That's a tough one. Now, I will say that the Thunder, so it's not that pivotal of a choice. I'm going to go, this series goes to 7 games. And, fuck it, I'm going to go Lakers. I am really not rooting for the Lakers. This is a 4-2 for the Thunder. All right, we're done with this conference. Now, this one I don't want to talk about that much. The Thunder are just way deeper, and Doncic might be tired. I don't know. But that's the West. Let's move on. We got to move on. 20 minutes on each one. Okay, I can do that. We're going red now. We're going red. Play-in tournament. Chicago. Let me move the camera. Play-in tournament. Chicago beats Miami. I think Chicago. I heard somebody describe them recently as like some you look up and they have like 100. They scored 140 points, and you're like, wait, what? I think Miami doesn't have it. I don't think Chicago's a real contender, of course. Dang. Atlanta versus Orlando. What a joke. Oh my god. These are bad teams that have no chance, so it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna think about it much. I'm gonna go with Orlando. No, I switch. Atlanta. And then I'm gonna pick Atlanta winning it. Jeebus. Oh my god. So Orlando versus Chicago, and I'm gonna pick Chicago. Shy City. So that puts Cleveland versus Chicago. Let's move the camera back here. Cleveland versus Chicago. That's an easy one. Come on. Chicago. I mean, Chicago has, I'd say, 0%. The Mavs have a 1% chance. If AD just like is the GOAT, and PJ Washington is going to have to show up. PJ Washington has been a big disappointment since the Doncic trade. Now, I know it gets harder for him because, number one, Kyrie is gone, so he has the best defender usually on him. Because he's our second best player. Or he's our best player, right? It's like, what, you're going to put your best defender on Spencer Dinwiddie? Our number one ball handler? We went from Luka as our number, whatever. Calm down. Cleveland wins. Cleveland. 4-0. 4-0. Easy peasy. Bucks Pacers, this is also just as easy. Pacers. I don't care if Dame is healthy. I'm not picking the Bucks even if Dame is not injured, which he is. I don't give a fuck about the Bucks. Doc Rivers is horrible. He says the dumbest shit anybody says. The fact that he got hired, the story of Damian Lillard is one of the greatest tragedy in my entire sports watching career. It's like up there with Dak Prescott getting the starting job over Tony Romo at the end of that season. It's not quite there for me personally because I'm much less invested in Damian Lillard, but Damian Lillard being like, I'm going to go to Miami where it's cool, and where I'm going to be with Butler, and where I like it, and where it's not fucking Milwaukee, bro. Instead he goes to Milwaukee and just is stuck with a workaholic Giannis, who's not cool at all, and the Milwaukee city, which is not cool at all. Not that I'm a Miami fan, but fuck Milwaukee. That ain't cool. And Doc Rivers is your fucking coach? Imagine Eric Spoelstra as Damian Lillard's coach. Imagine that shit. Imagine Eric Spoelstra with Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Imagine that fucking team. Butler wore emo hair that whole year, and it was rightfully so. Biggest tragedy in sports. The Milwaukee sucks the goodness out of anything. Sorry, Milwaukee. Who do they get? Chicago? No, Chicago goes to them. They get Atlanta. 4-0. 4-0 Celtics. Easy. Come on, I don't need to say anything there. Now, Knicks, Pistons. I think this is going to be the only close one. I think this is a 4... It could be a 4-0, bro. I'm going to give it a 4-1 just cuz. Because Giannis really tries Game 3 or Game 4 or whatever, and whatever. But I think the Bucks are fucked. But they did win a championship, right? So it's like, whatever. We won a championship in this era. The era is not a failure. We won a championship. We're Milwaukee. When's the next time do you think we're going to get a chance? Anyway, Knicks Pistons. Here's the thing. I think that Tom Thibodeau is going to be fired at the end of the season. I do not like how he coaches. The Knicks have been weird. They have not gelled. They're 0-8 or 0-9 versus the good teams. versus Cleveland, the Celtics, and the Thunder, they have not won a single game. The Mavs have like 3 wins over the Thunder. The Mavs might have taken a game versus the Celtics maybe in the regular season. I don't know. Probably not. But come on, even the Mavs have wins versus those teams. I think the Knicks lose round 1 to the Pistons. And Tom Thibodeau gets fired. And next season, the Knicks are way better, I think. Their players are not playing 80 minutes a game. They don't have this like obsession with like masculinity of I play every game or some whatever. I don't know what is going on with them. I like the Knicks. I'm kind of rooting for the Knicks. I want them to win, but I think Thibodeau is not a good coach. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. This goes to 7. This goes to 7 for sure. 4-3. All right, here we go. This is definitely the series of the conference, the first round. Round 2, Cleveland Pacers. Cleveland. Pacers are well coached and all that jazz, but I don't see them upsetting Cleveland. If anybody beats Cleveland, it's going to be the Celtics. Celtics beat the Pistons. This is a sleeper, though. This could be a 4-1, or it could be a shock 4-3. But I'm going to go 4-3 Celtics. Cleveland, 4-1. 4-0, actually. You know what? No, 4-0. Fuck the pay. Like, Cleveland's got that. Cleveland wants to win every single fucking game. The Celtics, I felt like last year, they lost 4 games over the course of the playoffs. They lost like 1 game per round, and it was just like they just didn't care that game. It felt like the switch wasn't turned on, which has been the Celtics' problem all season. Now, the switch has been on for the last like 40, 30 games of the regular season. They've been like the best team in the league. But the switch was off for a long time, and Cleveland is like, they're trying to make the... Last year, the Celtics, the switch was on from the start of the season to the end of the season. Except for 4 games in the playoffs where they lost for no reason. Just because they were like, fuck it, whatever. We can give one to the Mavs. They can have one, whatever. I think this is a 4-2 Cleveland. Cleveland get it done. Celtics used up more energy than they wanted to versus the young upstart Pistons. Cleveland's been sweeping. I have Cleveland. Let's go to the finals then. This is the final part of the prediction. NBA Finals. Cleveland versus Thunder. And I'm going to pick Cleveland. I didn't know what I was going to pick. When I looked at it, when I brought it up, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to pick. But I think I'm going to pick Cleveland. I think their bigs. Hartenstein's not good enough. I like Hartenstein. Holmgren is not good enough. They're both like top 15 centers in the league, which is nice to have on your team, but neither one is like top 10. Whereas I think both of their Cleveland's big guys are like top 10. Shea is going to cook. Donovan Mitchell is going to cook, though. Darius Garland, dude. Did I spell Cleveland right? Is that actually how you spell Cleveland? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Oh my god, what? Cleveland. Cleveland? Am I out of my mind? That is how you spell Cleveland. Okay. Cleveland. 4. Definitely 4, obviously. 4-3? Or 4-2? It's definitely not 4-1. It's definitely not 4-0. I say 4-2. I don't believe in Jalen Williams and Lou Dort and Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein that much. For some reason, I don't know. But that's it. Your champion of the season, Cleveland. Now, because I just picked them, it like guarantees that they're fucked. They lose in round 1 because I picked them. But this is my pick. Alright, quickly. Let's go over this reel. Come on, camera. Come on. This is the West. Thunder win the West. This is the East. Thunder win the East. I mean, not Thunder win the East. Cleveland wins the East. I have the Pistons as my team to watch. Let's wait. I want to actually pick the best series to watch. Yes. Yes. Yes, but I'm gonna actually say this. I mean, I think this one's gonna be. I'm very interested in this one, but it's gonna be 6 games for whoever wins. Yes. Yes. So those are the 2 series that I'm most looking forward to. This one, God, it's gonna be must watch. Doncic might go ham and just win that series, bro. God, what if the Doncic gets to the finals? Talk about win now trade for the fucking Mavs. God, dude, Nico, dude. He had one fucking blind spot. That's why all of his other moves were so good, is because he had a fucking insano part of his brain that was thinking about something else. And then the Thunder lose to Cleveland in the finals. I have Cleveland winning it all. Boom.